Good morning, East Bay. It is a wonderful, wonderful day. As has been said, my name is Reverend Dereca Blackmon, and I am the senior minister here at the East Bay Church of Religious Science. I use she or they gender pronouns, and I always like to let you know what my pronouns are because you can't tell what they are by looking at me. And also as an act of allyship for my friends in the trans and non-binary community, just a reminder that sometimes it's the little things that we do that make a difference, that signal to people that their culture, that their way of identifying themselves is important to us. So we want everyone to know this is a very intentionally, radically inclusive, queer-centered church, and so that's what it is. All right. I think we have some guests that we're going to be coming soon. It's National Hip Hop History Month. Yeah, I mean, I have to tell you that you hear a lot about the different parts of who I am as a person. If you've been here before, you know I'm from Detroit. If you know anything about me, you know that this has been my home for 27 years, East Bay, and this philosophy, the science of mind, was a part of me, really one of the first places that I felt like, oh, okay. This is what I believe, and I knew right away when I heard the Declaration of Principles that this is what I believe. And a little less frequently, I get to talk about hip-hop and the way it is intrinsically a part of my ministry. And so I want to read this to you from a description of this occasion. November is National Hip Hop History Month, a celebration of culture, history, and the influence of hip hop. In 2001, DJ Kool Herc and Rocky Bucano began a petition to Congress to recognize November as Hip Hop History Month. Did you catch that year? 2001. In 2023, Congress passed a resolution to honor the 50th anniversary of hip-hop by designating November as Hip-Hop History Month, August as Hip-Hop Recognition Month, and August 11th as Hip-Hop Celebration Day. But I want to first talk about 22 years to be recognized. I was watching a clip of KRS-One talking about why he didn't participate in the Grammys 50th anniversary of hip-hop, and we're going to get to KRS-One and his influence in my life and in this culture in a minute. But he talked about the fact that the Grammys never recognized hip-hop. And when they did recognize it, it was the commercialized version of it. And he felt like he, as the teacher, and he sees himself as the embodiment of hip-hop, I am hip-hop, didn't belong in that space. But what I also know is that there were people in that space who created an intentionality to celebrate. So these are the tensions that we hold. We're glad that there was a 50th anniversary commemoration of hip-hop at the Grammys, and we recognize that this culture comes from the underground, that it comes from the voiceless, voiceless, and we cannot evaluate it based upon the entertainment industry and how it sees it. In fact, some of us think we know hip-hop because of what we've heard on the radio. But those who know can tell you that most of the greatest elements in hip-hop never get played on the radio because it's a subversive music. Do you understand? It's here to subvert the cultural paradigm. So for those of us who lived at a time where it was underground and we had that underground consciousness, we knew what it was. And so when people came and commercialized it, we weren't really tripping off of that because we knew it wasn't for us. I used to say I taught hip-hop criticism in Oakland schools for a very long time with some folks in the room. See Brother David in here, teaching folks, to think critically, to use hip-hop, because this is what it did for me. It gave me an opportunity to think critically, right? And so I would go into classrooms and talk about that. And what I would tell people, you're not going to like. I would say to them, hip-hop is a safari. It wasn't commercial hip-hop, it's a safari, right? It's a tour through the ghetto. for people who don't want to get out their cars. Right? That's what commercial hip hop is. It's, ooh, can you bust a cap in somebody? Tell me a story about it. Oh, is your mama on crack? Tell me a story about it. Because that will entertain me from the safety of my vehicle. That will entertain me. So we have to ask the question, in a country where black folks are 13%, on a good day, 15%, on the multiracial day, 20% of the population, who is buying commercial hip hop? Who is it for? Who is the audience? Whereas the underground music from all cultures is actually about giving voice to the voiceless. Right? It's about subverting the paradigm. We talked about that. And many of you also know that I'm a Delta, member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And when they asked me what did I want my big sister name to be, there really was no question. Now, in case you don't know who Detroit Red is, and this is important if we're going to talk about hip-hop culture and hip-hop history and subverting the paradigm. In case you don't know who Detroit Red is is Malcolm X's name. But wait, don't get excited. When he was a pimp. Now, why is that important? Because I'm telling you, this is hip-hop criticism I'm teaching in Oakland public schools, where so many people are throwing away our children because they don't like their behavior. See, we like to worship somebody, put them on a pedestal, first of all, when they're dead. Because even when Martin wasn't popular during his years on earth, he was popular later. But we love to talk about Malcolm X. We're not El Haj Malik El Shabazz so much, because that would push our consciousness forward. That's a topic for another day. But we don't want to talk about Detroit Red, because that would force us to stop demonizing the people in our culture and our community in the conditions that we find them. That would force us to do what KRS-One right here wrote. KRS-One is knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. He wrote a book called The Gospel of Hip Hop. You need to know, in case you're concerned about where this has to do with metaphysics and spirituality. I watched a sermon that KRS-One gave at Hillside in Atlanta, because he was trained as a metaphysical minister. So this is from The Gospel of Hip Hop. The teacher is trained to see God's movements and look past the projected illusions of the material world. It is not that the teacher is somehow above everyone else. See, this is the thing I've been talking to you about closing the gap between the pews and the pulpit. It is that the teacher has committed themselves to seeing the spiritual world more than choosing to see the material world. The teacher notices spiritual reality. The teacher practices seeing their dreams in the physical world. Such a practice is commonly called creative visualization or spiritual actualization. Does that sound familiar? See, now, if I had put this book, The Gospel of Hip Hop, on the shelf in the bookstore, you might have said, oh, no, that's not for me. The question is, what do you see? Or rather, what are you trained to see? What are you aware of? Are you really conscious? And I'm talking about, what are you trained to see when you see black children in this generation? I want to talk to you about Barbara Lee, who 20 years ago, we were doing community organizing in the National Hip Hop Political Convention with something called the Bay Area Local Organizing Committee. And Barbara Lee funded us to do voter registration with a free concert with Dead President E40 at Lane. We had thousands of people show up, and we developed not just a free concert and registering people to vote. What were we talking about? Not John Kerry. That wasn't what was in place for good reason. But there are local issues going on right now. We got to figure out who is going to be the next mayor of Oakland. We're going to need all of us. So we're going to need this visualization strategy here for this next phase. I was talking to Kev Choice, and we were talking about the budget being cut for all of the arts and festivals in Oakland. So this is where we as a church community have to step up, right? Not just fill our pockets and fill our center, but fill our community. People need space to do things. They need money and support to do things. They need to show up and support the arts in Oakland. There's lots for us to do. But in order to invest in the work of the artists and the children in our community, we have to see something in them. I say that sometimes the generation gap between the civil rights generation and the hip hop generation was one of the most dangerous generation gaps in history. In Black folks' history, for sure. Because this is when 3 strikes got passed. When Biggie Smalls talked about who was calling the police on him when he was trying to feed his children, who was calling the police on him? It wasn't white folks. It wasn't white folks. I remember Barbara Lee trying to tell us this 3 strikes thing that y'all are about to let get passed is gonna lock up a generation that was 20 years ago. And guess what? We just passed Prop 36 again. And legalized slavery or ratified the slavery in the prison. We did that. And we could have done more. But I want to give you good news. Because it's National Hip Hop History Month, it gives a little list of prescribed activities. It says, I want to tell you some of what it says. Some ways to celebrate Hip Hop History Month include learning more about hip hop history. Check, we're doing that. Supporting local hip-hop artists and media, that's happening. Hosting a hip-hop workshop, presentation, or assembly, yes. Spreading the word about Hip-Hop History Month, yes. When I thought about what would be the right occasion day, I was so excited. Kev Choice and I have been planning this for like a month. I was like, Kev, Hip-Hop History Month, we gotta do it, what we doing? And then I thought about this visualization and this generation gap where we wanna lock up the young people that this hip-hop media mainstream safari have taught us to be afraid of. I was like, we need a different mental equivalent today. So I asked my favorite hip-hop culture group in the world. I am a proud YGB alum parent, but I'm also a fan, to come and be with us today. Please give a big, bold, loud welcome to Young, Gifted, and Black.
What's the first rule?
Stay on top of your game!
What's the second rule?
Control what you can't control!
What's the third rule?
Influence as much as you can what you can't control!
What's the fourth rule?
Respect yourself and others!
The African pledge.
The African pledge!
We are an African people.
We are an African people!
We will remember.
We will remember
the humanity.
the humanity,
Glory.
glory,
And suffering.
and suffering
Of our ancestors.
of our ancestors!
We will honor.
We will honor
the struggle
of
of our elders. We will strive.
We will strive
to bring new values.
to bring new values
and new life.
and new life
to our people.
to our people.
We will have peace.
We will have peace
and harmony.
and harmony
Among us.
among us.
We will be loving.
We will be loving,
Sharing. And creative.
and creative.
We will work.
We will work,
Study.
Study.
And listen.
and listen,
So we may learn.
so we may learn,
Learn so we may teach.
learn so we may teach.
We will cultivate.
We will discipline,
patience,
patience,
devotion,
devotion,
and courage.
and courage.
We will live as models.
We will live as
To
models
provide new directions.
to provide new directions
for our people.
for our people.
We will be free.
We will be free
and self-determinate.
and self-determinate.
We are an African people.
We are an African people and we will win.
Black is beautiful.
Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. The revolution has come. We have only begun. The revolution is here. We must conquer our fear. The goddess on next wall. We must remember the call. It's time to take it all back. We are in gifted and black. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. What's the call? Freedom all, freedom all. What's the call? Freedom all. What's the call? Freedom all, freedom all. What's the call? Freedom all. Black is beautiful. Set our voice free. Black is beautiful.
That our people are born to be.
We are Africans in America. 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 3, 2, 1, up.
YGB
YGB making history. No MC can get with me. Young, gifted, black, lifted. Teaching is our destiny. Unlocking no mystery. Truth, justice, we are YGB. Come on, black boy, black girl, black community, black world, black power, black pride, black fist in a best for one. This is something for the Holocaust. The Holocaust and millions of our people lost. Millions, raise your fist and represent the past. Represent till I die, I'ma be a force. Now, who gon' stop us? Who gon' stop us? Who gon' stop us, huh? Who gon' stop us? Who gon' stop us? Who gon' stop us, huh? Black boy, black girl, black community, black world, black power, black pride, black fictional, that's what we beat it up. Teach your head, wouldn't be working against the kid. Learn no matter what you did. Found the knowledge that you hid. In books, everything you took, distracted us, didn't think we looked. Now we found what we meant to see. Learning our black history. Become heroes and speak the word. Remember the lessons that we heard. Young, gifted, black, lifted. Throw your fist high in the air. And property times we have no fear. Proud, power, we are YGB. So come on, black boy, black girl, black community, black world, black power, black pride, black fictional, that's for. I'm black and proud. Come on, black and proud. Everybody, we black and proud. Come on, black and proud. Everybody, we black and proud. Come on, black and proud. Everybody, we black and proud. Come on, black and proud. Everybody, we black and proud. Come on, black and proud. Everybody, we black and proud. Come on, black and proud. Everybody, we black and proud.
Young, gifted, and black. Let them hear you all the way outside, East Bay. Now you see why. They are my favorite group. And I want to say this as we transition. We're about to have a little conversation about consciousness and hip hop. And I want to say this to you. I got my unapologetically black shirt on today. We are building a radically inclusive community here that celebrates all races. And I need to tell you that I don't want a radically inclusive community that is not unapologetically black. See, sometimes we think we've been taught that the way to be is colorblind. I want us to be colorful. I want all the rich hues of my blackness up in here, my Buddhist blackness, my African blackness. I want my Afro-Latino blackness. I want all the blackness. Because it does all come from blackness in the first place anyway, yes? So that makes us one family right from the outset. But if that's uncomfortable, today's a good day to stretch. Today's a good day to stretch. This culture that is hip hop has taken over the world. And there's some hard things about that. And there's some great things about that. But I remember, as some in this room do, when it was under attack. When it was that underground subversive culture, it was under attack. But from its inception, as I talked about in the work of KRS-One, it always was conscious. So I want to talk a little bit about metaphysics, consciousness, and spirituality in hip hop. I brought with me today two amazing brothers who are going to help me share in this conversation. We had a really good time after the election. Well, good time is not really what I want to describe that as. We had a very deep, provocative session after the election where we just pulled a few chairs on stage and had a conversation about what we were feeling. And it was really powerful. And it just inspired me. You know, I have this vision of doing church a little differently. So it inspired me that we could do this and just sit and build a little bit. So I want to actually start, since we just finished with YGB, with introducing my brother Zoe, who is one of the leaders of YGB. We give thanks to him and Sister Akira for the amazing work they do to groom and support these children and their consciousness. Because you could feel the consciousness, yes? Yeah, it wasn't just reciting some songs and some lyrics. There's a consciousness behind what is being said. Can you talk a little bit about the consciousness in YGB and also about part of what Hip Hop History Month is to do, is to celebrate local artists. So talk about your work as well, Zoe.
Can I get an ashe? First of all, thank you for having me. My name is Alonzo Henderson. I'm one of the directors of Young, Gifted, and Black, along with my good sister, Akira Davis. It's a blessing to be able to do this work, especially being in collaboration with this church. I grew up in this church. I am a conduit of East Bay Church of Religious Science. Amen. And the consciousness, I think it's a privilege to be able to be conscious in this day and age. I think there's a lot of eye closing that we experience in our society and in our world today. So we try to teach our kids to be conscious of their blackness, to be conscious of who they are and be proud of who they are and know what's going on in the world and how they can heal the world. Young, Gifted, and Black is a healing organization from the ground up. So just healing in hip hop has always had a place. It's always been a vehicle of healing, of peace, and of positivity. And I think YGB is just bringing just that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You know, it's funny because so often we invite people to come to the church, and I'm always amazed at God and how so many people have an East Bay story. And I actually know now that we connected about it, I'm like, right, of course. And you know, that's just how Spirit is. Another person who was introduced to this philosophy in this church is our very own Kev Choice. And I would like to ask you to talk a little bit about consciousness and hip hop and spirituality, which you are such an expert on in many ways.
I'll give thanks. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, beautiful. I'm gonna just take you back real quick because I remember being an educator, walking into a classroom, as a guest one day. I think you might have been in maybe elementary, 6th grade. And my friend had told me there's this kid in this class, I think you should, give him some encouragement or, show him, some of the things that you do, talk about your career. And I remember this kid just constantly just rapping, flowing, dancing around the classroom, an energetic presence that kind of resonated with me to this day. And to see you leading YGB now, to me, is that's really the power of hip hop. It's us as people having a space to express, having a space to create, to talk about our history, to talk about empowerment, to make opportunities for each other, to continue to connect with each other, to continue to tell our stories. To me, it's also a ritual. It's how many days or how many nights have you just spent rapping or creating or ciphering with your community, expressing, encouraging one another. It's a practice. When we talk about spiritual practice, I feel like hip hop is a spiritual practice. It is. Because we step into these spaces, and sometimes when we're on these stages, we transform, we transcend. We're not in this current space. We're somewhere being guided, by the ancestors. We talk about the ancestors who created this music through rituals of drums, through the rituals of the griots, spoken word, poetry. All of these things have transcended generations, centuries, decades. Hip hop is not something new. It was reincarnated in 1973, but it is something that has been a part of our culture. And even that name, hip hop, it was really just a part of that first song, a hip, a hop, a hippie to the hippie, the hip. So they gave it that word. But to me, it is a ritual. To some people, it is a religion. To some people, it is a practice. And when we talk about society, conscious of what we stand up for in political spaces, conscious of how we even engage with each other. When the first time I heard somebody say, "Peace, God," that was on a hip hop song. Brothers, that's how they used to address each other, like, "Peace, God," "Peace, King," "Peace, Queen." I learned that through hip hop music. And when I came in here and sat over there that day and first heard Reverend E say, "You are a God, God is reflected in you," the only other place I'd heard that was in hip hop music. So, to me, hip hop is a spiritual practice. It's a consciousness. It's a ritual. It's our tradition. It's our ancestry. And it's beautiful to see how it is transforming even to this day. I've been listening to Kendrick since it dropped. And that's a cultural phenomenon. And when I say the power of hip hop, like, people across the universe are still talking, dialoguing, analyzing the words and the practices of our young brothers and sisters and people from our communities. So that's, to me, the power and the consciousness of what hip hop is.
So it's our 50th anniversary of East Bay Church and the 50th anniversary of hip hop. And I don't believe in coincidences. So, Karas has a song. "I want 50 more years of hip hop. So I want 50 more years of East Bay." And so, but when I think about that, we have this expression, young people are the future. And as an educator in Oakland public schools for so long, I really started thinking about how we say that. And I actually like to say young people are our present, right? Because what we teach in this philosophy is that what we speak into the present is the future. So I want you to think about that when you talk about young people in Oakland. The next time there's a conversation about young people in Oakland, I want you to see the faces of young, gifted, and black. And I want you to speak that into the existence. Some of you know what people say about Oakland as a city. And when we have the opportunity, we speak something else, our own reality, into existence. Some people, what they say about churches. You know, I have a lot of folks, I wanted to get a choir here, and they were like, we can't come because a lot of our members are queer, and so they don't come into churches. And I was like, ooh, not our church, right? And so what do we do to speak something different into reality? One, we have to bring it in front of us. So I wanted you to have this image in your mind. And if you're watching this, live streamers, it's going to be available. So sit down with somebody, especially if you've been hating on your young people's music, right? That just creates the bigger gap. Your parents didn't like your music either. I don't care what generation you're in. I used to do jazz education, and the jazz heads would be like, our parents told us we was the devil. We was down there in the devil's juke joint, playing that jazz. Nobody likes their kids' music. That's not the point. The point is, historically, because this is Hip Hop History Month, hip hop commercialized at the intersection of racism, internalizing that, sexism, internalizing that, and capitalism, internalizing that. The unholy trinity. And what happened was there was the gap when we didn't claim it as a culture, as a people, when we didn't own it, when we didn't see the brilliance of our young people and what they were creating when the instruments were taken out of their schools, when we didn't see the genius of sampling, and we were like, they don't even make their own music. Now, if you watch documentaries, you see that sampling is actually genius, taking the break beat and isolating that and then making something new out of that part is genius. But do we look at our young people and see Malcolm X, or do we see Detroit Red? One continuum. We have to look in our prisons, on our streets, in our encampments. We have to look in our schools and be the consciousness that sees genius. That's our job, right? Is to preach the gospel out into the world, not in the church. Here it's easy. We sit and we listen and we clap and we cheer and all of that. I'm not interested in being the cult figure. I don't like the worshiped Jesus. I like the one with disciples. Right? That's what we're looking. We're not building a church. We're building a movement. And that takes all of us to participate. So part of what we get to do is we get to support the people around us who are creating amazing music. So I asked Zoe if he would come and talk about his latest project.
Yes. I think one of the aspects we hear a lot about in hip hop is currency. And I think we hear a lot about money, right? She spoke about capitalism. But there are different types of currency that we invest in, right? There's love, the currency of love, the power of love. There's the currency of community. This right here, we are rich. We are rich, we are wealthy. And the currency of knowing self, right? And this is what we do, instill in our young people and instill in our communities. And I had the privilege of being an A&R on a project called Black Love. It's not just for black people, it's for everybody. Everybody needs some black love in their life. Amen. Ashe. And this is an all-encompassing album. This is for everybody. The YGB kids are featured on it. Can you make some noise for the YGB kids? On their first album called Black Love. And it's an album for the community. It's an album that is for young folks, old folks, everybody in between, right? Everybody can get down with Black Love. And we just released it. We're releasing it on all platforms this Friday. But if you want to make a donation, we have it on a special platform called Even, where it's donation-based, and it supports the artists. Because a lot of times in our art, we don't necessarily see a lot of support with the DSPs, with the streaming platforms, but this platform provides us with an opportunity to be supported and support the community. So what we want to do is we want to instill the Black love in community. I have some flyers that I'll be passing out, and these young folks are so great. They're so powerful, and this album is going to heal the world, I believe. And the power and the currency of love is truly at the forefront of this album. So I want to give a shout out to YGB. I want to give a shout out to you. And Kev, he's on the album as well, spitting some bars and playing some keys and doing some beats. And it's a beautiful album. I'll be passing out some flyers, for sure. And that's the power of love. That's the currency of love. You know what I'm saying? They're passing out money right now. Most definitely. And this is going to feed our children, our children's children, and their children. This is an album for the generations. This is an album for the community, so we can build up and not tear down. And I think what's important in hip hop is narrative, right? The narrative of our people is being told through the words of our music. And I think it's important that we switch the narrative from the negative to the positive, because we have a beautiful community here. You all are representing it right now, and we want to be representative of you. So Black Love is out right now. You can get it on the Even platform, and it's a donation-based platform. It'll be on all DSPs and platforms this coming Friday. And it's a beautiful cultural experience. We've partnered with the Tough Gong International record label of Jamaica, started by Bob and Rita Marley, and it's a beautiful experience. So I want to thank you all for supporting and being here and supporting YGB as well.
Thank you so much. I saw some folks wanted flyers and didn't get any. We'll make sure we put the link on this YouTube so that people who see this, whenever they see it, will get the platform. You know, East Bay, we like to support our own. But especially this right here. This brother right here. I mean, I didn't know. I had asked Sister Akira to come and sit. She's like, I think Zoe should sit because he got this new project and blah, blah, blah. And Zoe was like, this is the church I grew up in. So I don't know, but spirit knows. Divine alignment, exactly. So divine alignment, divine assignment. You know what? On the 29th is Youth and Family Sunday. I want you to come back. All right, on 29th of December, we figured that out. And Kevin's here every month, so we can really make more good things happen. I want to acknowledge a couple of things that touched me, and then I actually want to give the mic back to Kev to talk a little bit. Yesterday we had the memorial for Gabriel Cruz, who is Bonnie Alake Oliver's son and Reverend E's grandson. And when I had that moment of like, should I really dedicate a whole service to hip hop history? I was at Gabe's service, and they just kept talking about his love for hip hop. And they just kept talking about the legacy of what it did for him. And every single one of his cousins, older and younger, talked about him and his influence on them in giving them this music. And our culture is so much more valuable than we realize sometimes. And it is the way in which and every single one of his cousins, it's the way in which we live on. It's my grandmother's Nina Simone, right? My father's Temptations, right? That's what lives in me, and I am who I am because of what hip hop is to me. And all of the complexities, right? Which I want to talk about, right? I've been talking about this election. Actually, I'm gonna say that piece. Let me let Kev talk about it. We'll get into that in a minute. But we also lost this week another Bay Area legend, Brother Safir, from Digital Underground, and so much work beyond that. That's how he might be most commonly known to the folks. But I know, Kevin, he was someone that influenced you personally. And so will you talk about Safir, but also just your influences. What led you, we talked a little bit about this with Zoe, but what led you to create the kind of music you create, you know, and how does your spirituality influence all of that?
But first, yeah, rest in peace, rest in power, Brother Safir, Reggie Gibson, proud West Oakland representative from the crew Hobo Junction, the crew Digital Underground, who kind of made his rise in the 90s. He released an underground classic album called Boxcar Sessions, 1994. Safir also was heralded for being, had a influential role in the movie Menace to Society as a cousin Harold. And when we talk about hip hop in Oakland, we talk about hip hop in the Bay Area, also in the country. A brother who was known for his individual distinctive style, his offbeat, on-beat flow, his vocabulary. His also his very vulnerable storytelling, telling stories at the time that, you know, a lot of brothers wasn't telling about relationships or even about consciousness. But when I'm talking about being a hip-hop practitioner, when I was around 14, 15, living by the lake, him and his crew would see us rapping on the corner and, you know, just freestyling, dancing. Also want to acknowledge too hip-hop, you know. And these were people who were just, you know, riding AC Transit from Oakland to Berkeley, down on, you know, ciphering it on Telegraph. You know, there is a historical age of hip hop represented here in the Bay Area that has influenced the world. Like, I've been to freestyle battles in Norway, and I've been to ciphers in Switzerland or Japan, and they are just really emulating what they see us do over here. And a lot of that is built from here in the Bay Area. Brothers like Boots Riley. You know, we talk about conscious hip hop, we talk about Paris. I remember a Scary X, Ward of the State, being locked down. You know what I'm saying? Deep historical impact from the Bay Area, and Safir, to me, was one of those who represented that. So rest in peace again, brother Safir, and yeah, keep his family and community in our prayers. But when talking about my influence, it's kind of crazy because I was learning how to rap and play piano at the same time. And it took me a long time to put them together, because when I was younger, like, my rap friends would like laugh at me for playing piano, and my piano teachers, I couldn't bring the word hip hop or rap into that space. You know, we was playing, you know, Chopin and Beethoven and Bach. I actually got kicked out. You know, I actually got kicked out of a program because I felt like I was having an internal battle of where I fit in, if we're talking about genre as a youth. But to me, it was really about, you know, just continuing the lineage of the people who influenced me. The Tribe Called Quest's, Rakim's, you know, even listening to my mother's records, Prince. When I saw that movie Under the Cherry Moon, seeing him being a piano player and just loving the sound that was created. To me, it was always about continuing the legacy, and also what you mentioned earlier about positivity. I was 15 years old when my best friend was murdered here in Oakland, California. Someone who I grew up with from junior high school all the way into high school. High school, he kind of went on a different path. Y'all don't remember that, you know, I came up, you know, I can express my age now that I'm starting to embrace that. You know, the crack epidemic in Oakland, where a lot of our brothers was getting locked up or getting murdered, and I was seeing that on a day-to-day basis. And I was like, how can I be a positive influence to kind of create another alternative of, number one, the perception of what a black man is, and to also influence the people around me. And I felt like music was something that I could contribute to that could help bring more positivity into the community. And then it was really just having mentors who put me in the right position. And that's why it's always been important for me to be an educator, because I had my first piano teacher was a black woman, Miss Phillips at Westlake Junior High School, who taught me Bach and Beethoven and scales and arpeggios and put me into a program at UC Berkeley. So having mentors guide me along the way, and also just the community of the people at that time. It was a thriving musical, you know, environment. We was rapping on the bus, we was rapping on the corner, we was rapping walking around the lake, we was rapping on High Street, we was rapping on 35th Street. Like, the culture was everywhere you were. You couldn't help but be embraced by that and be engulfed in that. So I really attribute a lot of it to coming up in Oakland at that time, like, which led me on a path to what I'm doing today.
I'll talk about it. So, I think the thing, you know, Kev's such a humble guy, and you can hear his respect for the history of the culture, his knowledge of that. You know, we know that he is, you know, a member of the Recording Academy, and we're so proud of you and the work that you do to shift that commercialization aspect and bring the authenticity. We're proud of them for seeing you and knowing that, but also, like, I'm looking up and Kev's like, yeah, I'm gonna be with the San Francisco Symphony that week, and but I'll be with the Oakland Symphony that week, and you're just like, see, this is, but I want you to hear the part where he got kicked out the program. This is what's happening to our children in our schools every day. Their creativity, we don't see it, so they're getting kicked out the program when they're destined to bring hip hop to the symphony. That's the destiny when we see beyond our limited thinking. And so, but also, Zoe talked about it, and it's such a part of Kev's music. I've been listening to the catalog a little bit more. I got the Bandcamp app finally on my phone. So I'm like, oh, man. And we were discussing the songs for the day, and one of the songs is called These Words. And I asked Kev, you know, we were talking about options for the day. I was like, yeah, this one right here. And I was listening to it. And it's such a reflection of the consciousness that is in hip hop when we're looking for it. If we are looking at what we see that doesn't reflect that consciousness, just like everything else we teach about the law of attraction in this philosophy, if you're looking for hip hop that's ignorant, you'll find it. But if you look at hip hop with the consciousness of what it actually is, you'll find that too. So I feel like it's enough talking for it to be National Hip Hop History Month. We need to get back to the music. So I want to thank Zoe and Kev, and let Kev come and do these words, because it's National Hip Hop History Month and we want to support the music. Thank you so much. Thank you. Kev, we got this. Y'all go ahead. Yes. Oh, and while the group is coming while the band is coming to the stage, YGB is also taking donations, so we will make sure oh, come on, Sister Akira.
I got these open back earrings, y'all, so my mask has been stuck, so don't even worry about it. My name's Akira Davis. I'm the director of Young Gifted and Black. We work with Black students in elementary and middle school. We work with Berkeley Unified School District, but we also save space for some of our Oakland community to still participate, because we are Oakland babies ourselves, so we got to keep the community together, right? But we are accepting donations, right? In order to do this work, we need support. This is a nonprofit. This is a family organization. My grandmother started in Ithaca, New York in 1984. So this is history, this is legacy. We've been in Oakland since 2010, we've been in Berkeley since 2018, and so in order for us to continue this work, we really do need community support. So the best way to donate, I know y'all got your phone, so I'm gonna just tell you. The website is proud2beblack.org. I'm gonna wait for y'all to pull your phones out. The website is proud2beblack.org. On that website, you can go to any donation button that you see. You can support us that way. You can also book us through Black History Month. That's another way to support us, because like y'all see, we perform, right? So the best way to support YGB is to either send us money directly to our pockets, because we need it, and then to book us. And we also got merch on that site. Like, we got fly gear, y'all. We got stickers, we got buttons, we got shirts. Our website is proud2beblack.org. Y'all say it with me. proud2beblack.org. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We love Mama Dereca. I love you, Mama.
All right. Thank you so much to Sister Akira, whose grandparents, by the way, were very frequent attendees here at East Bay. So this is all family. So without further ado, I bring you Kev Choice.
Words bring power, something you can hold on to. You can fall back on these words. Always find strength to uplift these words. That's all I got to give, all I got to give. Cause all I have in this world, cause all I have in this world, cause all I have in this world is these words, is these words. Ay, I wake up early Sunday morning, couple verses, Old Testament, of the Quran, checking with the most benevolent. Or watch the news trying to be the most relevant, or hit the streets checking with the people that I represent. Cause it's hunger in my eyes when the sun rise, like it's power in these words when the tongue fly. Life on earth I observe with a hawk eye, soak up the wisdom, let the BS walk by. I exemplify the divine, powers divine, elevating Colorado mountain high, trying to got 1,000 lines, still trying to find a way to defy the way I feel inside. Time to get confidence, it seems. I always bring it back to a verse. The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Come on. These words bring power. You can always hold on to. You can fall back on these words. Always find strength to uplift these words. That's all I got to give, all I got to give. Cause all I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this world is these words, is these words. Is it possible to live amongst sinners and stand with the righteous and try to bring the two worlds together like a hyphen? And tragedy can strike like lightning, trying to do right and see strife just like Tyson, trying to commit to my own improvement, knowing what I'm doing right now is not moving the needle. Amongst all the evil, amongst the people, trying to stand tall and be regal, And I look at stuff on the wall and see I could be like the mayor, I could get recalled if they take me off my position, if they see what goes on in the closet. Care choice, man, I gotta get my own logic, And it's a testimony right now, I gotta do it for my children too, child. I'm just trying to make the people smile, the people smile, one time. These words bring power, we can always hold on to. You can fall back on these words, always find strength to uplift these words. That's all I got to give, all I got to give. Cause all I have in this world, cause all I have in this world, cause all I have in this world is these words, is these words. got a testimony, hey. Welcome to my testimony. Feeling like I've been here for years and still nobody know me. Never walked the aisle, this music my only matrimony. Been through hell and back, protected by angels that chaperone me. And that's the word. All I really got is these words. All I really got is these words and these words, and these words, yeah, come on, ayy. These words bring power, you can always hold on to, you can fall back on these words. Always find strength to uplift these words, cause all I got to give, all I got to give. Cause all I have in this world, cause all I have in this world, cause all I have in this world is these words, is these words. Let's clap our hands, y'all. Clap your hands, y'all. And just clap your hands, come on. Hey, and just clap your hands, yeah. Come on, and just clap your hands, come on. Hey, I want y'all to sing with me. And somebody say, whoa. Say, yeah. Say, whoa. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And say, ah. And what? All my everyday people, all my everyday people, clap your hands, let me hear you say, ah, what, hey, and everyday people, all my everyday people, keep your hands clapping, hey, this is black man love, black fist raised, black joy parade, looking for a real queen, she the one, we still dealing with trauma from the transatlantic, that's generational damage, the scars are hard to bandage, that weight is hard to manage, I still feel my ideal partner and sister, brown sugar, sweet as candy, they try to destroy the black family, the black community, they feel the black planet, but knowledge, wisdom, understanding, keep us overcoming and advancing, our culture get exploited, they take advantage, that's why we need economic empowerment like YGB, going by they CD, Kim Choice is a place to be at East Bay, we about to do this for the love for today, all my people put your fists up high, everyday people living their life, let me hear you say, ah, say what, hands up, and everyday people, all my everyday people put your hands up high to the sky, come on and say, ah, and what, ayy, and everyday people, hands up, stand up, ayy, one more time, ayy, yo, this is black reparations, black school, black teacher, black education, black entrepreneurs starting our own corporation, keeping all our dollars in our own community, that's the key to our liberation, a whole celebration, cookouts in the backyard, we moving up the catering, we got enough for everybody, call over the neighbors, good vibrations, yo, it feel like Jamaica, one time, hey, black excellence, yo, we setting new standards, championship one, put the team on the banner, I'm just trying to lift us up, take the whole church on the road, do it like Hammer, they say the best leaders do it by example, I hope you see I only came up cause I took the gamble, roulette last dollar laying on the table, cause I stay faithful, and I do it for my, say what, who we do it for, ayy, and everyday people, all my everyday people, East Bay, all my people put your hands up, and say, ayy, and everyday people, we're gonna do some old school stuff right here for the hip hop people out there, yeah. Now just wave your hands from side to side, and if you're feeling real good, if you're feeling alive, and if you feel alright, and if you're loving the life, and say, oh yeah, and say, oh yeah, and say, oh yeah. Hip hop, and you don't stop. Hip hop, and you don't quit. It's kept songs on the mic and the real spit. And I, yo, want you to play on that real stuff. Come on. Everyday people, everyday people, hip hop was and say
Yes, yes, y'all. Give it up for Kev Troyce. We got Drew on drums, Gerald on bass. We got Io Brame on saxophone. And the one and only, our brother, our teacher, our way shower, Kev Troyce. You know, Reverend E used to say when the music was good, well, we could just go home right now. Wow. I am so grateful for the opportunity to be creative in this pulpit, to do something different. Hip hop is so important to me personally because, like so many other people tell the story, it really saved my life. And I think if you didn't grow up in this culture, in this music, it's hard to understand that. But when sometimes, you know, God asks you to tell a story and you're like, really? So my mother was addicted to crack before it was even called crack. They called it base. And she was, free base. And they had a song, Public Enemy had a song called Night of the Living Bassheads. And it was just about the horror that was ravaging our community because there never had been a drug, I mean, we had heroin. But what made crack so different, remember I talked about that triumvirate of racism, sexism, and capitalism. What made it so different, in the place where I'm from, we had something called Young Boys Incorporated, YBI. And YBI actually decided they could get around the laws that were incarcerating the adults by having the young people sell. Before, we were locking them up and throwing away the key and putting them in adult prisons. Young people were getting the same kind of punishment, so they had the young people sell, Young Boys Incorporated. But they were also selling to their mothers. I remember that too. Right? And so there was something different that was happening in the home. And by the time I got to Oakland, and was working with kids, I had kids who couldn't open the door for grandma because of what she might steal. So into this vacuum where 3 strikes was taking our parents and drug addiction wasn't an opioid crisis, oh no. That's not how they treated it when it was happening to black women and black communities. It wasn't a crisis. That's not what happened. They used it to win elections. They called our parents, they talked about us as crack babies and crack mamas and crack whores and all of these words. And into that gap stepped this music that said, I'm beautiful. See, I didn't grow up in the 60s, so I didn't have, you know, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. I didn't have black is beautiful. I didn't have a dashiki. I had hip hop. And like Kev said, it was the first time somebody told me I was God, I was a queen, I was beautiful. And I grew up in Detroit, so I had a certain kind of consciousness, but this was different. This was a youth culture that said, in the midst of all of this that is happening in your community, I still see you are bigger than this. And not only did it say I was bigger than this, it told me where I came from, right? The history, it told me to be a critical thinker about what I was being taught in the curriculum. That's KRS-One now, you must learn, right? He taught me the history of the Bible, to be critical about who I was reading and what, all of that. He taught me not to eat beef. I mean, this was in the absence of parents. And when hip hop was at its most sexist. And I want to talk about that today because it's what I taught in the schools for a very long time. When it was at its most sexist, I still had these women, these powerful women in hip hop who taught me how to think, and even some brothers who were out there talking about that. And U-N-I-T-Y, that's the unity. U-N-I-T-Y, love a black woman from infinity to infinity. Oh, instinct leads me to another flow. Every time I hear a brother call a girl a bitch or a hoe, you know all of that's got to go. MC Light told me, when you say you love me, it doesn't matter. It goes into my head as just chit chatter. You may think it's egotistical or just worry free, but what you say, I take none of it seriously. And even if I did, I wouldn't tell you so. I let you pretend to read me, and then you know, because I hate when one attempts to analyze. In fact, I despise those that even try to look into my eyes and see. I could go on and on and on. Every fly thing that I am is because those women stood in the gap when my mother couldn't be there and said, this is what it is to be a woman. And the brothers had a place too. If I say to a certain generation, dumb, 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 what do you hear? Some people hear E40, tell me when they go, which is good. But some of us I see you jocking JC because he got a Mercedes and you know about his ladies and all his babies. You just want to ride and get inside. This is Run DMC. This is Run DMC telling me don't be like that. Don't be like that. Don't be a dumb girl. Jocking, being a groupie. That was game. Like, okay, I'm not a dumb girl. I'm with Latifah and Money Love and, you know, Bahamadia and okay. I need to say this to you. Well, okay, Rev, I'm sorry. I'm not a hip hop fan. I came on the wrong Sunday. I'm not sure what y'all really doing here. And, you know, Reverend E says the way we do one thing is the way we do everything. See, because we've got this culture that says we can throw people away. And we're in the middle of this time in our history where we look at the results of this election and we don't know what to do with them. Our instinct is to throw people away. Because we see that some people in their quest for leadership, they're just creating division after division after division, and everything and everyone is under attack. But as I've been saying for weeks upon weeks, we cannot fall for that. We cannot dismantle the master's house with the master's tools, so we can't just turn around now and try to throw them away. Because guess what happened? As soon as the election was over, we tried to throw parts of our side away. We tried to throw away the Latino men, Latinx men who voted for this, and we tried to throw away white women who did that. We just kept turning on each other because it's the same model. If you're looking for somebody to blame, we've been trying to colonize and exploit the world. We ran out of enemies and now we're attacking each other. And then the left ran out of enemies, so they attacking each other. The right, you know, they just get with anybody who is gonna help them get elected at all. We don't agree on nothing. Our values are not at all the same. But I'm serious, and that's important because I have someone in my life who's very close to me who voted for Trump. And some of us are having a really hard time with that. But if I'm serious about challenging my growing edge, I wanted to know why. Like, I genuinely wanted to know why. Because we can't just afford to keep losing like this. we might want to start listening. Might be about that time. We used to have the expression in hip hop, looking at my Gucci, it's about that time. I just got to keep throwing a little quotes in, right? Because it's that day when I get to do that. And so I sat down and I talked with my brother about it. Beautiful black man who is not fascist, not racist, and not stupid, who is a very proud Trump voter, right? Along with some people sitting right here in this room, right? So I asked him about it. And one of the things that he told me that stuck with me the most, and we had this conversation 8 years ago because he voted for him last time. And one of the things he stuck with me, he says, I just hate the assumption that I must be stupid. See, we folks on the left don't understand that white people could hate us more than they hate the fascists. Because the right was courting the middle. Saying, me and you are the same. My brother told me, he said, my whole life people have been telling me my rights and my responsibilities as a black person. This is the first time anybody ever told me I have rights as an American. And I was like, wow, I have failed tremendously as a mentor. But I thought, oh, okay, I get it. What you're hearing is, you belong with us. You have rights as an American. And then he began to tell me his whole beliefs on immigration and his beliefs on abortion and how they lined up with what he was hearing. And it was hard for me at times during that conversation. But I didn't walk away thinking he was stupid or even brainwashed. I thought, I see how he got to that place. And I tried to think about a time when I was accused of being stupid or brainwashed. And there was an article that a brother named Cheo Coker wrote. And it was about women in a sorority at Stanford dancing to Two Live Crew. How here were these black women in this established sorority at the party. It wasn't even just twerking. Y'all know we talk about hip hop today, like mumble rap, like we know. Hey, we don't. I ain't going that far. I'm just saying he was observing us in contradiction with our values. Because in order for us to have compassion, and if you listen to Reverend Anthony, thank you so much for doing our meditation. Reverend Anthony, I was like, Reverend Anthony, I think I'm gonna do the pulpit today on this hip hop history. But if you listen to the meditation, it was about compassion. And I really want us to reach into this place. Zoe talked about black love. And here's the thing, we're tired and we get to be tired. That's real, right? And he said, and I was just like, this is so perfect. This album is going to heal the world. Because that's what black love does. It's what it's always done. It's how we got to where we are. It's how we went in just a few hundred years from slave to president. Because we were willing to be loving people even in the midst of being treated and legislated as less than human. So even in the midst of hip hop that shifted the safety of my walk home from school, I found a relationship in this culture, in this movement, because I wasn't willing to throw black men away because of how they were being depicted, because of how they were being co-opted in this music. Even black women, I'm from Detroit, there's a sister called Boss. And at the beginning of her album, her mom comes on and she goes, now Michelle, you know you was raised in these good Catholic schools and this is not how you were raised to behave. And she goes, I don't give a heck, I don't give a heck, I don't give a heck. Trust me, it does not say heck. And in an interview, she said she used to be what Kev talked about, a conscious rapper. But the label told her, see, the label is run by who? Not her community. The label told her that doesn't sell. What's hot is gangster rap. That's what's hot. You gotta be gangster. But we could blame the white people, the label, the A&R, but we decide what makes it hot. We decide whether Black Love goes platinum, or, I won't name any other artists, but I have some I could name, or that. See, compassion is going to have us look at the way people are thinking about the circumstances to which they belong. My brother was brought into a community that said, I see you and your unemployment, and I care about how you're feeling. I know you have these Christian beliefs, and I'm with you around this issue of abortion. And I firmly believe in a woman's right to choose. But I also understand that if you think abortion is murder, that's an emotional and spiritual conflict. So stop acting like we're so outraged because we don't understand how people could think that. I'm asking you to complicate the narrative. That's all. Is to not discard a whole group of people and say they must be ignorant, they must be stupid, they must be blind. I've been those people. That's how we got more people in prison than we had in slavery. It's modern day slavery, which California just ratified and said, yeah, we're good with that. Right? There is something in us that has a tendency to look for an enemy. And what we discover is that if we have that consciousness, that somebody or something is the devil. Kevin's put me up on the new Kendrick track about the devil's reincarnation and conversations with God. I'm like, woo! This is deep metaphysics right here. But if we are looking for a devil, an enemy, someone to cast aside, we will find it. But if we are looking at the least of these and seeing the opportunity to use this love that we have, this black love, this universal, rainbow, beautiful love that we have right here in this East Bay church, if we're looking at everything and asking how we can bring love to it, that includes people who voted differently, that includes the people who broke into and robbed this church, that includes the ex, it includes the boss, it includes the person who hurt us. And that is our work. We talked about it last week. It's the inside-outside game. We are going to be involved in our radical self-healing so that we can come fully equipped to go out into the world and be the change we wish to see. Yes? And so it is. All right. So it's time for prayer. Just going to invite you to know that whatever prayer you placed in this box, or whatever prayer is still unwritten but on your heart, Reverend E said there is a balm in Gilead. There is a testimony that each and every one of us has, that even in the midst of the hardest times, there is an idea that says it's going to be all right. Kendrick told us we're going to be all right. And so we hold fast to this visualization, this actualization, this consciousness that says, I am not afraid because I know who and whose I am. So doctor, your diagnosis is not the last word. It's important. I'm going. I'm listening. I might have the surgery. I'm not afraid of that either. But I just want to be clear that it's not the last word. That I am not limited by my education in terms of what opportunities I have. I have the call of God, and therefore I'm qualified for that call, because God does not call the qualified, God qualifies the call. So if you hear the call, don't worry about whether you have all the qualifications. White men look at the job anyway and go, I got 2 of the qualifications, therefore I'm qualified. Black women look at the job, they go, I don't have 2 of the qualifications, so I'm not qualified. It's consciousness. It's consciousness. You are worthy. Spirit does not give you something that is yours to do without equipping you with everything you need. So all our job is to get in touch with that still small voice and say, okay, is this my instruction? Is this my instruction? Just go without a name? Okay. Because I turned around 5, 6, 7, 8 times before I made my way here. Now, I think somebody needs to hear that. It's okay. It's scary. Kev told me he's scared every time he performs. He still get that 11-year-old inside him that's nervous. That's a good thing. Reverend Deborah said if your ministry don't scare you, it's not big enough. So if you're feeling scared about something you're called to, say yes. God is the provider. Spirit will provide you everything you need. I've been scared a little bit about how to manage this church, but that's not my actual job. My job is to say yes to God. And everything else will be added unto. And so it's your job too, because there's only one of us. So just know that whatever that prayer is, for a new place to live, a new partner to love, whatever that prayer is that's on your heart, Spirit says yes. I'm so grateful for this philosophy. I'm so grateful for these grown people that were young people in this community and come back and raise the next generation of young people. I'm grateful for this legacy, but I'm so excited about this future that we are planting and building here today. I'm grateful for everybody here, everybody that's watching. Whenever, wherever you're seeing this, it's the right and perfect time for this message to reach you. And I have to do what I consider to be the most important step of the 5 steps of treatment. Get out the way. Ludacris said, move, get out the way. We ain't gotta say the rest of it, but I'm telling you, get out the way of spirit when it's trying to tell you which way to go. You get your bloated nothingness out of the way and just say yes. Yes. If you call me, I'll go. Yes. Yes. And so it is. Ashe and amen. Oh, now it's time to acknowledge those who are with us for the very first time. If this is your first time at East Bay Church, you're not exactly sure what's going on, but please stand so that we can acknowledge you. Thank you. Welcome. Our greeters are coming. If you stand, our greeters are coming with a gift for you. There's a packet that will entitle you to a free book in our bookstore. There's a lei that lets folks know that you are with us for the first time. There's folks over here. Richard, if you go to these, we got 1, 2, 3 over there. Yeah, there we go. Awesome, fabulous. And we'll give packets to everyone. But if you remain standing, we would love to stretch our hands out. I need to say, Makeda, you with somebody really special to me over there. Thank you for being here, Chris. Reach your hands out, East Bay, and do what we do. Welcome to East Bay Church. The God in us recognizes the God in you. We see you, we love you, and we thank God for you. Welcome home. All right. And now it is our time for gracious giving. I love to hear those cheers. That's so beautiful. This ministry is fueled by your consciousness. Money is just energy. It's just one form of the consciousness that you put out. But if you want to see more of what you saw today, of what you're seeing in this movement, we invite you to give in this place where you receive so much. Many of you have converted to recurring givers, which we really appreciate. It tells us we can count on your gift. We can build the future based upon what we know comes in every month. Even if it's just a little bit that you can commit to, that helps us a lot. There is a kiosk in the back where you can give via your credit card. There's lots of ways to give. And we have an offertory statement. Now flowing into my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. And so it is. On the screen for those watching is a QR code, lots of ways to give. You can text, you can Zelle, and we'll leave that up as we hear this powerful music medley of some of our favorite hip hop tracks. We just give thanks for everyone who gave today and everyone who had the intention but not yet the means to give. We bless every gift here and the consciousness and the flow and energy of money, knowing that it returns to us, pressed down and running over, knowing that it seeds our work, not just in the church, but in the youth church, in the community, in our community outreach. It seeds our consciousness as it expands and expands and expands out into the entire planet. I bless this offering. I bless this congregation. I bless those online who are members of our community, just the same, wherever, whenever you are. And I let go and let it be, and so it is. We have a few announcements. Pathways to Fatherhood is meeting every Sunday, 3:30 to 5. It really shouldn't be called Pathways to Fatherhood. It really is Pathways to Manhood. And I don't even know if it's Pathways, but I know it's a really great group of men who come together to just be in community. I know we had Spiritual Man this past Saturday. A group of folks came out to that. You can also come to Pathways 3:30 today at church. Bring somebody who needs a positive group of men to be a part of. Power Hour is not going to meet this Wednesday. We are celebrating Thanksgiving here at church on Thursday, and so Power Hour will not happen on Wednesday night. Thanksgiving celebration. Our speaker is Reverend Arlene King, who is on vacation. Yay, vacation! And our own Minister of Music, Reverend Queen Michelle Jordan. So there will be a potluck at 11:15, meditation at 10, service at 10:15, and the potluck starts at 11:15. So that is Thursday on Thanksgiving. We are having our launch for our Revel, which is going to be a Friday night live healing arts service. After church on December 1st, we'll have that launch. You get to see a little bit about what Fabiana and Chris the Alchemist have been brewing. So that's a Sunday, December 1st. And then every Friday after that, we're going to have Friday Night Live. Is there a question? Question? No? We're good? Okay. Ministry Open House. We are discovering, connecting, and belonging. How many people would like to get a little closer to other people here at East Bay? You like to get to look at that. Look around, leave your hands up, look around. You are not alone. So we are responding to your desire to get a little bit closer to other folks at East Bay. We're gonna have a ministry open house where you can connect not just to our ministries, but to each other. And so that's Sunday, December 8th, after church, right here, we will have an opportunity to just get closer and connect. On December 15th, we have new member induction. Congratulations to our new members who completed the educational piece. And this is our opportunity to welcome them to our community as official members. And I think that's all. If you have any questions about anything, I'll be hanging out after service. If you are here for the first time, actually, I'm gonna go to the bookstore where you have a free book. And if you wanna come back there and say hi, or I'll probably stand in the back and then walk you back there, whatever that good thing is. I just want to say thank you for being with us. And it is our time for closing. And Reverend Anthony, you want to pray us out in the benediction? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reverend Dereca and East Bay family. Thank you, thank you. So let us all stand if you're able. Shall we stand if you're able? And Reverend Dereca, as she stated, she'll be in the bookstore. So as we prepare to leave this space, I know I have been thoroughly fed, and I've learned so much. I have learned so much that I'm making a choice to demonstrate what I have learned. For God is truly all that there is. And in the midst of all things, God is who you are. It is who I am. And for this, I am eternally grateful. I am eternally grateful for your presence, for I know and I know that I know that God is all that there is. So as we go, we magnify in consciousness the goodness of God expressing itself in so many ways. I don't know about y'all, but I'm giving thanks. I'm giving thanks for the goodness of God. I'm giving thanks for the life which I am living. I am giving thanks, for I understand the more I give thanks, the more things I have to be thankful for. So I let it go, and I let God. And I invite you all to join me in anchoring this truth by saying amen. Ashe. And so it is. Have a great day.